Welcome back to Cat's Coloring. This is the you haven't missed any videos, but this is the final project for the Arteza Advent calendar. I kind of just did a lot of work before this video because I wanted to make this brick background, and I didn't want to give you guys like a 2-hour video because I wasn't 100% sure I was going to pull off this coloration. And especially with this gradient, I had to mix a whole bunch of colors to make this gradient of gray. And then I did not draw the dragon. I have a couple of dragon stencils. So I used the dragon stencil, but I used the white, I did like a whitewash. That's why there's this white film lookingness to the dragon. And then before the white film was dry, I used black, so that's where the kind of like the black smudge look comes from. So I used all the products from the boxes to create this, but the colors I have don't necessarily lend themselves, because I wanted to do like a graffiti style dragon niche, and all these are kind of darker or muted colors. I'm guessing I'm not a graffiti artist at all, but I didn't want to do marker, and the paints just weren't really... When I do like detail painting, I like using paint markers. So these are paint markers I picked up on Amazon, and so that's what I'm going to be using to color in the dragon for this video. So we'll get started. And then, if you're interested, this is what they're called. And then they have a fine tip, and they're all different colors, but they're all the same. Brush tip on one side, fine tip on the other, and they're acrylic paint on the inside. And I tried Posca, and I've tried, I don't know what it's called, but it was in the Jazz art kit. I picked up his art kit, and I tried those, which are supposed to be like similar to Posca, but like you've seen me trying to, with the other smaller paint markers, either I'm just not working them correctly, or they just don't like me. But it doesn't matter the brand, it doesn't matter how much I mess with it. So I actually found another brand of these kind of paint pen markers, and I just fell in love with them. I know it's touch and go on brands and how long they last, but I usually only use them for like if I'm doing something like this. For the most part, I use my regular paints to do backgrounds and whatnot. But if I'm doing like finer detail paint work, I'll pull these out and use them, because it gives me a little bit more control over where the paint goes, and I don't have to worry about it running. Kind of like how the paint pen ran with the white paint, which I'm actually really happy. I wasn't trying to go for a fresh look. I was okay with it looking like it had been, the outline had a little bit of wear to it before the base color was put on. Now, to tell you the truth, plus the day I decided to do, I was going to film doing the brickwork and doing the outline, but the outline really only took maybe 5 minutes. Like between the whitewash, I was off screen more than I was on screen for the whitewash because of having to get the water to paint ratio, and then it because of how watered down I had the whitewash because I really wanted this like kind of like this dated um, watery look. I didn't want to take a hair dryer or well actually that's all I have. I don't have a heat gun or anything like that. When it comes to my painting, I just let it naturally dry because I mean I've seen a lot of people use heat guns and hair dryers and it's not like their paint goes everywhere. But I'm so afraid of it happening to me that I just naturally just let it do a natural dry. And I am perfectly okay with it. But like I was saying with the brick, I thought it was gonna be like a 2-hour video because I wasn't. This is the first time I had ever done a brick motif, and I was afraid I was gonna be. I'm not really OCD, but when I'm doing something for the first time, I can kind of turn OCD because I'll start, second guessing how it looks, and so I'll end up touching it up, then having to retouch it because I'm like, oh, now it's too clean or it's too red. Because I was trying to go for like this muted red, kind of like the brick, and the same thing with the brick. I was kind of going for this like it's been there for a while, not like brand spanking new building or a building that just been washed. I was going for a dated building look. So I was afraid it was going to take me 2 hours of fussing with it and I knew that wasn't going to make because all my premise on my stuff, unless a family member decides to do it for me because I work full time and I have medical stuff that sometimes puts me under the weather for a day or two. So my thing is everything's unedited. Everything that it's straight through. It won't be. So if the phone rings in the background, you'll hear it. If somebody's walking through my lip, because I don't have an office space, so if somebody's walking through behind the camera, you'll hear it. So like I said, I didn't want to do 2 hours of seeing me do the main part and then touch up here, touch up there, touch up everywhere. Sorry. So I figure I do all the brickwork and the stenciling off camera and then just concentrate on the main paint job on camera. When I'm done, it's not gonna. I'm gonna since unlike the other pieces where they'll probably go into, since I made them Christmas theme, they're probably gonna go in my Christmas collection and they'll go get put up for through the year. But with this being an actual canvas, I decided I wanted to make something that I could hang up on the wall. So I'm gonna personalize it a little bit off after I'm done with the dragon, and then it'll get hung up on the wall to be enjoyed all through the year. And so me and my husband love dragons, and so as I said, I have dragon stencils. So I have a lot of, and I don't do much on the drawing front, so I use the stencil in my journaling and other projects, and then I just color them in. Still working on getting a good base for my dragons and trying to figure out the best ratio and how to make them look realistic, but I'm working on it. After this, my next series, I think I mentioned in another video, if not, my next series is going to be ABCs, where I have a book that's about 30 pages long. It's like an A5 size little collage notebook, or the paper's meant for like junk journaling kind of notebook. And so each page is going to be a different letter of the alphabet. So if you're interested in seeing that process, that'll be the next big project I do after I finish up. Because after this video, I'll pull all the projects out from this advent calendar, and I might do some touch-ups, or I might just, go back through and be like, okay, here's the projects I did, and then I might touch up on some of the beginner first projects, the ones before I opened up all the materials. So if I wanted to touch up some of the other projects with the newer materials, I could, and bring you guys along on that journey. And then probably in the new year, I'll start the ABCs. Like I have other content that I've recorded to kind of get used to recording my working on my art outside of this advent calendar, which I'll probably post leading up to the new year. I know it's not that far away by the point that this gets posted, but it'll give me time to work on the new long-term project. So if you're interested in seeing my next long-term project, you can hit that subscribe so you'll know when those videos come out. If you want to leave a comment, that'd be appreciated. If you have been watching since the first project, I greatly appreciate you following this journey of mine into the world of videoing my artwork and joining me along on this wonderful unboxing of the advent calendar, which I think I've only seen the Arteza 2023 unboxing the advent calendar unboxing from when Chloe Rose unboxed it, and I saw that she has a video up of the other one that came out at the same time this one did, that was collabed with another artist. And I was originally thinking about getting that one, but at the time that I was ordering this one was gonna come in like the next day. The other one had kept either it was selling out constantly, or it was saying it was gonna take like a week or so for it to come in the mail. So I went ahead and grabbed this one, and then Chloe Rose released a video unboxing the other box, the one that I was debating on but decided to not do. And nothing wrong with the box. It was a beautiful box. It just was not anywhere in my style. I would have opened it, I would have reviewed it, I would have tried my best to work the projects, but it was definitely not my style. This was definitely more up my alley, and it was kind of easier for me to put content together for it than it would have been for the other box. So I feel like I lucked out with choosing this box over waiting on the other box. Because I definitely love the materials, the paints, the markers. Even though I'm not a big fan of these these clicky pens. Like, I call them clicky pens because the clack clack clack. I'm not a fan of those. I like the color choices. So that's my personal opinion on this box, that for me it worked. I'm gonna let that dry while I change colors, and then I'll go back there and do touch-ups. originally I was debating on coloring this gray area, this open area, but after the excuse me, um, the black bled and gave this like really cool like shadowy, like kind of gives that shadowy effect in there. I'm like, I didn't really want to mess with that, so I'm just working on the open areas. I kind of had to laugh at myself when I first started art journaling. I thought I was going to stick to color pencils, maybe some markers, but I was like, I am not touching paint. And then I don't remember when I got. Ah, that was weird. Sorry, I just ended up with some green paint. I must have accidentally touched my canvas when I was turning it. Okay, well, at least it didn't leave a big glob. But I'm thinking oh, it must have been that I was doing one of the, like, art subscription boxes, and I received paint. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna, not use a material that I received in this kit because, I already paid the money for it. And so it started off as I used it as more of, and for the most part, I use paint as like a backdrop, kind of like how the brick is. I use it for my backdrop. I don't really use it for my foreground, but I have started dabbling in actually creating landscapes and pieces with the paint instead of relying on my color pencils and my markers, because there are some paints that I have, or maybe it's the way I use them, that don't take marker or color pencil very well. So I've been dabbling with adding those bits and pieces with my paints. And then if you happen to catch any of my other, the ones that, any of my journaling videos that are already out on my page, I'll have the paint as a background. And then, since I don't really draw, like I said, I can if I absolutely need to, but for the most part I don't. I'll use coloring pages to be like my big focal point, and then I'll color in the coloring page or section of it, and then I'll cut out what I'm going to use from the coloring page and then add it to my journal. And then I'm a stickerholic, so I add stickers as like a final touch. So for the most part, it's painted, and then I add the coloring page, and then stickers. So it's kind of, for the junk journals out there, it's kind of like junk journaling, but it's not. I'm pretty sure I'm not making a whole lot of sense, but on my art style, but I always feel like to each their own. What somebody finds amazing, somebody else may be like, you did awesome work, but it's just not my thing. Just like for somebody that absolutely does not like dragons. Somebody else may love dragons and be like, this is awesome. But somebody else that doesn't like dragons will be like, cool, but not my thing. And that's perfectly okay. My big example is I used to watch the fashion show that was where they had the people that were into fashion design, and they would have a competition, and you have to create a gown or an outfit. And my husband and I were into watching that. And we would be like, somebody walked down the runway in an outfit, and we'd be like, oh my god, that is disgusting. But the judges are like, oh, magnifique. That should be on in a show right this second. And then vice versa, something come down the runway, and we think it's gorgeous, and the judges would be like, that's trash. So that's how I feel. That's why I'm not worried about my art, because it's really just in the eye of the beholder on if something is amazing or not. My dragon has green green nails. But I love how that's turning out. That was actually my husband's suggestion was to. I'm getting really OCD with colors, and I've been really practicing my shading with my colors. So I had a. He likes art, but he likes it when somebody else does art more than himself. So he's my greatest supporter. But I have to ask him to help me tone down my tendencies on things, and he's better at eye of explaining a style of art to me. So he's the one that kind of gave me this whole graffiti idea, and I'm sitting here like, I have an idea of what graffiti is. He's the one that had to kind of pinpoint like how I should do these colors. And at first I didn't understand his, like, I am horrible when it comes to colorology. And so I use my husband's knowledge and sight to help me figure out how to put colors together. Because trust me, I would have been sitting here with my I probably would have used like a neon green for the dragon, and then did other bold colors, what I typically see for graffiti, and it probably would not have like gone for the dragon aesthetic at all. But I gave him my color selection, and he chose the two colors and how to use them, and I am loving it. And then he's gonna have a gray eye, and hopefully I do the eye justice in the placement, because the stencil did not have an eye. So I have to freehand work the placement for the eye. Okay. And then after I get done with the eye, I will say good day. And hopefully you join me for my final video. Because after that, like I said, after this one, it'll be my bringing everything together video. Which should only be, it should drop the next day. Okay. looks awesome on camera. I probably could have done a little bit lower. And okay. See, this is where I was talking about with I have to watch myself because I like how it looks and I don't want to accidentally overdo it. I think I'm going to do the under jaw just because the white is really white. Okay, you didn't really. But there is Monsieur Dragon, or Mrs. Dragon. And then hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you for the final video for this series. Have a great day, and goodbye.